What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to YGOPD, Yu-Gi-Oh! Professional Development. It's been a little bit, just didn't have much of a desire to play. We were waiting on a ban list and waiting on a new set. And, really, the Justice Hunters thing only got so far. I could only play Yummy a couple times before I wanted to pull my hair out. So, it's pretty straightforward. But, yeah, with Doom and Dimensions, a lot of new things came out in a bunch of different ways. Some new, some old, and Psychic got some stuff, right? And so I wanted to do a quick impromptu showcase of a few combos. I did take this to my sneak peek event today. I got, I think, like 4th or 5th out of 16. I was X1, and then there were 3 XOs that had chosen to tie for first and split prizing just because, again, it's a smaller OTS and they have other back-to-back events. So I wanted to still showcase this. I felt it was really great, and a lot of lines have changed. So my hope is to show 3 combos today. One is using the P.U.N.K stuff because the card quality of the P.U.N.K has increased thanks to some of the new support, as well as 2 combos using the stereotypical starters of either E-Telly, Mind Procedure, or Serene. Any of those will work. Of course, there has been the other new Psychic that came out, the Axon Kicker, the Super. I did not want to go all in with Super Poly and really kind of exploit that just yet with like Teleport Fusion and stuff. I kind of wanted to wait and see how decks shaked out, right? And kind of being an unknown territory, I wanted just the most consistent thing possible, and this was kind of where we landed. So I'm going to start by showing 2 combos using this stuff. For the purposes of these combos, I'm just going to use E-Telly both times. The only difference is if you don't have E-Telly, you're going to play a little more into Droll depending on your normal summon, but they're all still 1.5 card combos using any one of these starters plus a discard. And similar to Amin will also be a starter, or Ogre Dance even to get to this, plus a discard. Ogre Dance gets a little bit better, but for now we'll just do kind of those basic 3 just to give people a little bit of an idea of where the deck is going, right? So again, we'll start off with just the basic E-Telly combo, right? So we'll go ahead, activate E-Telly, and I'm going to kind of be looking just to make sure things are fairly visible. We'll summon the Serene, and then Serene will banish the 1 card from hand. We'll have to really keep an eye on banished here because that does come into play quite a bit. And then that will summon the Mind Procedure. Mind Procedure will pay 2k, and you get a teleport back, and then you can use that teleport again, and you'll go ahead and get Amin. So far it's going to be pretty similar, and there's just a couple deviation points that we're going to use that just vary the interrupts slightly compared to what we're normally used to. So from here, you'll go ahead and pay 600 for the Amin, and you'll get your copy of Rising Scale from deck to hand. And then from there, you'll do the typical thing where you Serene, boost each of these by 1 level, making them both level 4, and then Synchro for 8. The Mind Procedure can be treated as a non-tuner. So those will go to the graveyard, and then we'll go ahead and summon our Jam Dragon Drive. So we'll go ahead and put that here, and then on summon, we'll pay another 600 life points to get a level 3 Psychic from our deck to our hand. So we'll go ahead and grab the Minister. If you already have Minister, then as per usual, you would get a card like Ghost Ogre here. So, and then from there, of course, on summon 5 in typical P.U.N.K Psychic combination fashion, right, you're going to get Jam Fever as a 5th summon to insulate from Nibiru, which is just another huge reason why I like this deck. So from here, what you can go ahead and do is summon the Minister, and there's a couple things you could do beforehand, but the order does matter a little bit here. So now we're going to go ahead and summon a Rising Scale by banishing the Amin as cost, and then we're going to go ahead and pay 600 to get a P.U.N.K from our grave or deck to the field. In this case, we're going to typically, as per normal, as you would expect, get a Deer Note to the board. So from here, we're going to, again, Synchro 5. This is going to look pretty similar. If you've seen the combos in my prior videos, if you want to check those out, feel free. There's a profile as well as a combo, but again, both of these will be updated post-ban list and post-Doom and Dimensions. So we're going to summon Silent Psychic Magician. The difference here is this card can reborn from grave or banished. It doesn't have to actually get from grave, so we're not getting back the Minister anymore. We're getting back the Amin from banished, so we'll go ahead and get that here. And then for the purposes of this combo, we're not going to adjust its level to level 4. We're just going to leave it as is. And so from here, we're going to go ahead and synchro these 2 into a Synchro 8. And then we're going to get a card that was new-ish in the set before, Duelist Advance, but was not really utilized in the deck, but now can be really, really well. This is Crossmind Archfiend. It's a generic level 8. Or sorry, not generic, but it takes psychic stuff. But anyways, the effect is that it is 2 quick effects. One is during the main phase, you can special summon a level 7 or lower psychic banished monster back to your field. And the second effect is during the battle phase, you can tribute another monster and boost its attack for the turn. So that second part isn't really going to matter. So from here, what we're going to do is trigger Deer Note, and we're going to reborn the Amin. Now, from here, we're going to link off the Rising Scale and the level 5 for a copy of our Psyframe Lambda. We're still integrating those into the combo, but again, you don't have to, but I still like this as a varied layer of interrupt. And then we're going to do something a little bit neat here that is a little bit different. Here's where the combo starts to change, even though this was already new. We're going to banish Minister as cost, as well as the Serene Psychic or Silent Psychic Magician as cost, and target the Crossmind Archfiend to banish until the end of the turn. And then whether they respond or not, and an additional chain link, you're going to quick effect use the Crossmind Archfiend to bring back the Minister. So the Minister will come back. This will then get banished. And now you can trigger the Lambda to add a Psyframe during the end phase. From here, what you'll go ahead and do is synchro these two away into a Synchro 6. And you will make a copy of the new Serene Psychic Sorceress. This card is absolutely incredible. On summon, pays 1,000 life points to set any teleport from grave, deck, or banished. So anywhere, which is incredible. So you're going to set Parallel Teleport. I'm going to keep this face up just for the purposes of explaining the combo and the end board when we get there. And then you're going to go to end phase. You're going to get that Crossmind back. And then you're going to go ahead and search a Psyframe of choice. I'm going to add a Psyframe Delta here. So what does this combo do, right? So there's a few different things. The first is you have a monster negate in terms of Jam Fever. You have a spell negate from the Psyframe Delta and Lambda being on the field. That's 2 interrupts. The third point of interaction is going to be kind of housed within these 2 cards here. So Parallel Teleport can tribute a Psychic Monster. Again, a new card from Duelist Advanced, but we didn't have much reason to use it until now. So we'll tribute that for cost. And then you can get any Psychic that's level 7 or lower from deck or extra deck. You're locked into Psychics exclusively during the turn you use it, both before and after. And you take damage equal to the difference in the level of what you tributed and what you brought out times 1,000. So for example here, this is going to resolve. You would take 1,000 points of damage because you got a level 7 here and a level 6 here. So 1 level difference. The part that matters now is Serene Psychic Sorceress has an effect of when it leaves the field as a synchro summoned card, you can target a card in your opponent's field and return it to hand. It's a compulse. The second part of that effect is if you have a Psychic Synchro on the field when that's happening, you get to target 2 instead. So you've had a monster negate, a spell negate, you're going to be able to bounce 2 because of the Parallel Teleport and the Serene Psychic Sorceress. And then the 5th interrupt is going to be Zeta banishing itself and a special summon monster until the end of the turn. Now, the one unfortunate thing to call out is because this was not properly summoned, you can't reborn it from Crossmind and do it again. I really, really wish. But this will still come back because it returns itself. So there is ways around it. You just have to get it back by its own effect naturally. The secondary thing to note is this gives you much better follow-up because you can do something like Crossmind on their turn to get Silent Psychic Magician. This triggers on any time it's special summoned. So then you can go ahead and get a card, say like Mind Procedure if you really want. If you have the life points to spare, you can pay 2,000 and then you can re-add one of these 2. So the deck has much better follow-up. So it's 5 interrupts, it's more layered, it's monsters and back row, and you have a ton more follow-up that you didn't normally do before. So that is combo 1 with the new support, really, really referencing the Serene Psychic Sorceress. I'm going to go ahead and showcase the second combo using the same set of 3 starters. Okay, bear with me because this one I don't do as much, so I might fumble through a step or 2, but because I prefer the first one with having Psyframes, but this is a way to just get more bodies and be a little bit more defensive and play around cards like, say, Lightning Storm that came back to 3 if you're really worried about it. So it's going to start off the same as always. You're going to emergency teleport into one of your 2 starters of choice, either Serene or Mind Procedure. We're going to do Serene again for sake of simplicity. Banish that card in your hand. We'll put it over here just to make sure things match. And then we'll go ahead and use the Serene to get a Mind Procedure. Mind Procedure would pay 2k, add the teleport back, use the teleport again to get Amin. Amin would pay the 600, again, very similar to before. A lot of the steps are going to be the same. Oops, sorry, wrong one. You're going to get the Rising Scale to your hand. From there, same thing before. You're going to use Serene, boost these 2 both by level 1. Go ahead, synchro those into a level 8 again. You're going to get your Jam Dragon Drive. Jam Dragon Drive is going to trigger. You're going to get your level 3 Psychic, which is going to be your Minister. And then again on Summon 5, you are now insulated from Nibiru. So from here again, going to look fairly similar. Summon the Minister, and then you're going to go ahead and summon the Rising Scale, banish the Amin, and we're going to then summon the Deer Note back. From here, what we can do is we're going to go ahead and synchro these two off, and we're going to summon the Silent Psychic Magician. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and use its effect, bring back Amin, make this a level 9, synchro these two because this can be used as a non-tuner. And we're going to go ahead and make a copy of our Blaster Mark II. Now, this is where it starts to get a little bit different. And again, you could put it in defense if you're really, really worried about Lightning Storm. Same with this. These two matter. So from there, again, we're going to go ahead and use the Minister, banishing itself. And we'll go ahead and banish a copy of Amin. And we're going to banish the Rising Scale until the end of the turn. So that's going to go away. And then from there, we're going to use Blaster's effect. We're going to bring back the Amin, and then we're going to go ahead and synchro these two for 8. And we're going to make a Crossmind Archfiend. Okay, so we make the Crossmind Archfiend. Deer Note will trigger, and we'll go ahead and reborn the Amin back. And then Mark II will trigger, and we will reborn the Minister back. And again, we will go ahead and synchro these off into a 6. And we're going to make the Serene. Serene's effect again will trigger. You'll pay 1,000. You'll get the Parallel Teleport. And then you'll go to end phase, and then this will come back. So it's a slightly different end board. You still have the one monster negate, and in place of the Psyframe of choice, you have the quick banish from the Mark II. So those are your primary two. And then you still have the Serene here for the bounce 2, plus the Zeta, right, to banish one other one. And I guess you could call it 5.5 interrupts in quotations if you really, really want, because when your opponent activates a card or effect, a monster effect with 25 or more attack, you can book it with this, but that doesn't necessarily always come up. And again, you still have the same level of follow-up, which you would typically with Crossmind when it gets back to your turn, because you just have the ability to banish one of your own guys and then bring it back and then still be able to continue playing. So that's the second combo. I think you can kind of pick your poison. They're both different in different ways. So the other thing I would just recommend is potentially setting a card like Epsilon because of evenly, but this card really kind of helps deal with that because I had that happen a couple of times today where my board was evenly or cleared except for this, and this would get back a body that would get back a body that would really keep me in the game. So that is the second combo, and then lastly we'll go ahead and hop into the quick combo to showcase just what Amin can do now as an improved starter as well. Okay, so for Amin, again, this was at most before it was like the Jam Fever plus Dry Sheen, which is a monster negate plus like board wipe for face-up spell traps or face-up monsters. It wasn't great, right? So what you can do now is you can normal Amin, and then Amin's effect is going to get Foxy Tune. And unfortunately, this line does kind of play into Nib if you want the full line, so we'll just have to kind of get over that. But we're going to Foxy Pitch itself in that blank card from hand. And we're going to go ahead and summon the Deer Note from deck. From here, we're going to Synchro 8, get rid of those two. And we'll go ahead and again summon our Jam Dragon Drive. Jam Dragon Drive is going to pay 600 to search, and Deer Note will target the Amin to reborn, and then Amin can boost this by 600 just so you're playing around Ash Bell, right? From there, you'll search, obviously, the Minister. This will come back. And then this is kind of where I mentioned it does play into Nibiru, unfortunately, is you still do the Jam Fever. However, I believe this was summon 5, and on top of when this is summoned, you don't have a level 3 Psychic Tuner in your graveyard to leverage the negate, so you just have to be aware of that. But again, the board it produces, based on what this deck had before and after without really changing much, is significantly better. So you'll Special Minister, you'll Synchro these two, and again, you'll just get your Serene. Serene will pay 1,000, and you'll set Parallel Teleport. So now you still have a monster negate, 2 bounces, and then a Zeta banish. So technically still 4 interrupts or 3 unique points of interaction off of just Amin without having to play all the extra bricks in terms of Shark and Wagong and the field spell without having to go super punk heavy, right? So these are the 3 combos. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, deck profile hopefully coming up ideally on my friend Sunny P's channel in another week or so. If not, I'll do it on my channel. But yeah, the key takeaways are that this deck is significantly stronger now. The interrupts are much more layered. It plays much better by creating a half board by doing stuff like this. It plays better into Charmies now because you can, again, end on minimal boards and not have to worry about it. So overall, I think it's just a really, really solid deck and is still worth exploring. So thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry about the lack of uploads, and we're going to get back to it here soon. Thanks.